Hey guys, welcome back to Spoons and Spirits. Now, some of you who have been a long time subscribers will probably think, hang on a minute, why is he doing another sharpening video? Why is he doing another video on strops? Well, it's been a few years since I've had a new strop and started off a new strop. Now, the last one was more to do with the sharpening aspect of things, but I have been a very lucky boy and won a little online competition with Instagram and won a sharpening set from Tech Diamond Tools with some diamond pastes in there and 2 strops. So I'm going to get them out in a minute. We'll do a little bit of unboxing. So this is going to be a bit of a review of Tech Diamond Tools kit that they give away, or that they sell even, sorry, they gave away a couple as well. But also going over the basics of setting up a new strop and how to use it as well. We won't go into so much detail as I did in the previous video, so please do check that out if you're looking more towards how to sharpen your knife. I'll put a link up somewhere around here for you, yeah, this will be, we'll touch on that but a little bit more in depth in the previous videos. So let's get unboxing and get started. Okay, so let's have a look inside the box. So it comes in a nice shiny little box. Everything's all very, very professional there. So in this kit you get yourself the traditional paddle with the name embossed on it there, and or printed on it even, and you'll notice on these kind of paddles you'll get 2 different types of leather. You'll get a very almost fluffy type leather, and you get a really smooth type leather, and one of them you will want to get lagged in compound, which is the fluffy side, and the smooth side you want to leave because that is going to be that final touches on the sharpening. Okay, so next thing in here we've got a proper belt strop here. Now, I've not actually used one of these before, so this is going to be rather interesting. The main reason is you tend to see on all the films and everything, you see the barbers hanging it up and just whipping a knife up and down. That can cause you to roll the edge of your blade and to take away all the hard work you're doing. So when you're using these, they must be on a flat surface, but we'll cover that again later on as well. Again, this is kind of halfway between the fluff and the smooth side there. So I think as we go through this, as I show you in a minute, I'm going to lag them with different types of compound so that I can get different grits as we go. Oops. And then the last thing or things you get in the box is 3 syringes. Worrying to some that you might see that to start with, seeing a few syringes in there, but these are full of diamond compound. You can see that just there written on. So you've got a 4,000 grit, 8,000 grit, and a 2,000 grit. So I did that the wrong way around. So you've got 2,000, 4,000 and 8,000 grit. So for those who aren't sure, don't really know what I'm talking about there, the lower the grit is, the more abrasive it is. So the higher the grit, so the 8,000 is going to get you that very fine edge on it, but the 2,000 grit is going to take out all those tiny little nicks and dinks and do the heavy work for you. So before we get started on this one, because this is the first time I've used diamond paste, so we're learning together. But my old strop, as you can see here, you compare the cleanliness of the two, you've got quite a very well used there. So this is probably about 5 or 6 years old now. But yeah, it's getting near the end of it. It's got a few little nicks in there where I've missed when I'm carving, when I've not been paying too much attention. Little cuts in there as I might have caught it on things, and it's just beginning to get a bit worn. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but hey, I got a free one. Let's get a new one started. So this one is lagged in a traditional compound. So the traditional compounds you get with the sets, you can buy them separate in massive bars, or if you want to get them higher quality, they come in smaller amounts for more expensive prices, obviously. But exactly the same here. So all you want to do with this is, if you're setting up this one, we'll do this first, super easy. You will get your strop looking just like this one. You find the fluffier side, and then you just get your, what basically is a wax crayon, but it's got tiny little grains in there which will cause that abrasion, and you're just rubbing it on. You're colouring it in. That's all you're doing. Okay, and you'll see the colour change, because as you use it, it will become flattened and shiny, and it's less effective as such. It's collecting all of the dirt. As for cleaning this, personally, I use an old knife or a flat edge of something that I don't care what it's like, really. One of those ragabout things you've had in the back drawer for ages. And I just gently scraping it all off, like like scouring it off as such with the edge of the knife until I see back to leather, and then I will do that again. If you are rubbing this on and nothing's going on there, just warm this slightly over the hob, or with or over a candle, or anything like that really, just to soften it up a little bit, and that will get you started. And it's one of those things, once it gets going, you don't really need to worry too much about it again. I can't remember the last time I actually had to warm any up as well. Also a good little hint for cleaning it off and smoothing it out, just hold that gently, not too much because you don't want to set it on fire, but gently over some heat, and then you can rub a little bit more on again and it will flatten it all out nicely as well. So back to this diamonds stuff now. So from what I've done research wise, basically what we're going to do is we're going to get some of this diamond grit now, and I think I'm going to go for I think I'm going to go for the 4000 grit, because I keep my knives fairly sharp, or at least I think I do anyway. So I'm going to save that 8000 grit. I'm going to go for the 4000 grit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this all along here like this, and a few dots in place, and then I'm going to use a handy card. This is one that's expired. I have covered up my my details there because I don't want people from all over the world knowing what I drive. And then all we're going to do with that card is just smooth it in, smooth it down, and then because this is a liquid paste, we're going to leave it to dry overnight, and then tomorrow we're going to pick it up again and we're going to see how it actually sharpens, and we'll give it a good review. So take the cap off. Now I've been told you don't have to use, or from what I've seen, you don't have to use the whole tube, so I'm going to aim just, let's see what we do. It's quite tough actually. I thought I was going to be firing it everywhere, but oh, there we go, coming out now. There we go. Okay, so that first bit is a bit dried out, but that's okay. I'm going to put little dots there, there. Oops. Okay, so one thing I will say, not so easy, but I did receive this a number of weeks ago, so thank you very much, Tech Diamond Tools. But I knew I wanted to do this video, but I've been suffering really bad with laryngitis for over a month now, and it's pretty hard to talk on a video when you can't talk in normal life. So I think that's probably enough there. Let's put the cap back on that. So I have used about a third or so of that, so that's good to know that there's plenty of that left. But let's just see how that smooths in. So now I'm just going to get my card, and like putting filler in a wall, I'm just smoothing that in. Oh, look at that go in. So it is really going in the grains. You can see that going in. It's quite satisfying actually. It is like doing a bit of DIY around the house when I finally get around to it. Okay. I'm just now working it in and out and in and out to make sure it's really embedded in there. Yeah. Okay. Right, I think I'm going to leave that for a minute. I'm going to try and get it as even as I can. Just leave it on there for a minute and then carry on scraping it a little bit more off camera, just to try and get as much as I can in. I'm not going to leave it like that. My aim is I'm going to leave it more like that. Okay, so you can still see the leather underneath, but you can see the little pits in there as well. That's what I'm aiming on. Now, okay, I might get contacted after this and be told, good Lord, man, you've done it completely wrong. But let's just find out. Okay, so that's that. Wipe that card off. Oh, it's strange. Okay, because I don't want to get any of that grit onto the next one. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to do the belt. And I'm going to do that in the 2000 grit, because what I want to try and achieve here is a 3-part sharpening system, so that I can start with the 4000 grit, go to the 2000 grit, and then I've got the plain flat there. Okay, so I'm going to use the box for this to try and keep it flat. Okay, nope, I don't want the 2000 grit, I don't know what I'm talking about. You want the 8000 grit, the higher grit. So clarify that one after my little faux pas there. 4000 grit, 8000 grit, plain. Okay, so you're going higher and higher in grits so that you achieve a sharper finish. Same thing again, although I'm not going to put quite so much on this time, I don't think. And let's see how this rubs in. Okay, where did I put my card? There it is. Right, same thing again then. I'm just basically filling in the gaps. This is not easy on a flexible top board. Probably should be doing this on a table, but this is me, I don't think this far ahead. See, this is actually going in a lot easier now. I don't know whether it's because of the belt or because it's a finer grit. I'm not quite sure. Where did I put it? Yeah, 8000 grit. There we go. I'm actually going to need a little bit more because I can see where I've missed some of it. Okay. Haha, my glamorous assistant has come in to help me out and make me look less of a fool. There we go, something a little bit harder. There we go. And by glamorous assistant, I don't mean that I have producers and stagehands and all the rest of it. No, 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 it's just my wife that could hear me struggling. Right. Still need a bit more. This 8000 grit's really going in rather well, actually. So if anyone does know, is it anything to do with the grit, or is it just this paste isn't maybe quite as dry as the other one? I don't know. We are suffering in England from the hottest weather England has ever known right now, which is, I mean, today the thermometer broke 34 degrees centigrade. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit, I'm afraid. Right, that has really gone in well. So, according to the instructions I've received, I'm going to now leave these overnight and we'll see what they do. So, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so the paste has been left on for more than 24 hours. I have had a few things crop up and I'm only getting around to it now, but it is 100% dry. It's not really rubbing off or anything on my hands in particular, doing anything like that. You can still see that it's quite white, but let's see how that goes. So the knife I'm going to try and sharpen here is, well, I am going to sharpen here, is my Mora. I've recently been using it to carve a spoon, and it's got a little bit of a dink in there. It's still quite sharp. I mean, last time I tested on the paper test, yep, cuts paper quite well. All good there. It's not brilliant, but it doesn't cut the hair on the back of my arm, which is what it very easily did when I first got it. In fact, all it does is take a little bit of dry skin off of it. So that's the ultimate aim, but we'll see if we get there. So, Sharpening 101. If you've never sharpened a knife before, this is a very, very quick intro. As I've said before, please do check out my other video on sharpening. I cover stones and bits and pieces in that one, but the technique is the same as if you would use on a stone, as in using it on a strop, but it's basically super easy. It is, you are getting your knife on the strop, you're not laying it flat so that you can see an edge there, you want it against the edge, so that is going, is that sharp edge there is right against it, and you're just gently pulling it across. You don't want to put too much pressure on it. Now the feel of this, it almost does feel a bit different. You can feel a bit more drag compared to a waxed compound. Okay, and I'm just pulling it across there. Helpful tip for beginners: if you've never really done this before, just hold a finger just ever so slightly over the edge, just like that, and then you can feel if there's a bit of a gap between your knife as well as sight, because sometimes your eyes fail you, but it's a good way of just holding your finger. You can do it on the other hand if you want, just along it, and you can feel whether you're just touching, getting right to the edge instead of rolling it or tipping it too far. That's what will cause the rolling of the edge of your knife, and will completely blunt it. It'll do everything you shouldn't be doing. Now I'm trying to count in my head here, but I'm talking and I've lost count, so I'm going to say it's about 10. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a cycle on each of them of 10 on each side, then 9 on each side, then 8 on each side. I'm going to do that all the way down from 10 to 1 on this one, same on this one, same on this side of the strop. So I'm working through the grits to the biggest grit, which is the finest grit, and that will get you to that hopefully mirror shine finish, which is super sharp. So yeah, I'll give it one more there, and then so I'm bringing it back the other way now to do the other side, and that just makes sure that you don't over sharpen one side, cause it to be a bit unstable, and it won't give you a sharp edge either. One more, I think it was. Again, I lost count. I was already trying to think of the next thing. So yeah, so that was 10. Now I'm going to work down to 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now you can already see the darkness coming down the center there. So that is actually tiny bits of the steel coming off, microscopic pieces, and it's starting to build up. Yes, it's dirt as well. It's a bit of everything, but you're basically regrinding that blade. Already that I can feel a bit of a difference there. So I'm going to carry on with this side. I'll catch you back again when I'm going on to the barber style strop there. Okay, so initial thoughts. The base feels good, actually. I quite like the feel of it. It's got a little bit more resistance than a wax. It's not shining up as much as a wax does. After a few passes, wax tends to get a bit shiny, especially the cheaper brands. So yeah, so far so good. I'm impressed. There is a little bit of annoyance with residue there. I don't know if you could see it on the knife. There's a little bit of residue there, but that's easily cleaned up. That's not so much of a worry. Already I can feel the difference. This is a very quick way. It's what I got taught in Scouts of testing a sharpness of a knife, is just run your thumb horizontally across the blade, not with the blade obviously, you're going to just slice your thumb off, but across that way, the more resistance you feel, the rougher it feels, the sharper it is, because there is some, you know, it's the contact of every little movement of your thumb there. But yeah, it's feels good so far. It feels good so far. Another quick way of testing to see how sharp a blade is if you hold the knife up away from your eye, not point first, obviously, so more that way really. I can look down at it now. You can see hopefully my face in the camera there. I'm looking down with one eye right along the edge, and what I'm looking for is basically a reflection or a dark line, something that shows me exactly where that is. If I can't see that, that is super sharp, that is super thin. You are down to those last few molecules there really to make sure it was super sharp. If you could see a reflection coming off of it, some light coming from the sun or from the sky, whatever you've got, then that is a flat surface. That is not a sharp surface. So that's another good way of doing it. But obviously remember, don't do it point first towards your eyes. That's just asking for trouble. Not unless you never want to use your eyes again. But yeah, so that's the first one done. That was the highest grit, and now we're down to that medium grit there. And let's give this a go. So as well, worth taking note as well, if anyone is getting interested in buying some of these, then they're retailing at between $6 and $8.50, which in UK money is between £5 and £7. Depending on what you want, what packages you want and everything, and grits and things. And it is a 50% concentration of diamond dust in diamond particles in the thing. So it's a pretty high concentration compared to others from what I gather. So that's good. So this belt here. So like I said before, these belts, they're flexible. They're great for taking around with you because they roll up. You can roll them up, keep them nicely wherever. They're very very mobile. You can use them wherever. However, when you're sharpening, don't do like they do on the movies and flip, 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 flip. You'll roll your knife. I'm going to use this exactly the same as that. I've got it on a flat, hard surface. I'm not using it on this table. What I have just come across is obviously the hilt of your knife. You are going to want to have, rather than on the block here, you've got that gap there for your knife to go down. You don't have that on the flat surface. So I'm using it on the edge of this mat here. And I'm going to go up, and I'm going to do exactly the same again. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then back the same way. So I'm going to hold this end now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Also worthwhile pointing out, when I was using this one, I got to about 7 or so, and I noticed that the compound was starting to come off near the edge, which is where you tend to put the pressure a little bit, because I'm with a Sloyd style knife like this, you want to get the whole curve, so you naturally bring it up to make sure you get everything. So because most of the pressure goes on the edge, your dominant hand's edge, I swipe this over again to make sure that there's just the same amount of compound going on. And I'm going to do the same with this one as well. Again, first thoughts on this, I can feel the difference in the compounds. Okay, that could well be the leather as well, a difference in leather, but this doesn't have so much of a resistance to it, which would make sense due to a less of a concentration there, or finer dust. I'm not entirely sure how it all works, but yeah, that sweeps a lot easier, but still enough resistance to know that I'm doing something. I think that's 6, 7, 8, 9. This is basically my routine after I carve anything, but I tend to go from 5. So 3, 4. So I'll start at 5 after I've carved something, because I'm hoping I haven't blunted my knife too much. If 4, 3 even, 4, 5, that makes 10. I've done one too many. Never mind, it doesn't matter. But if I'm just carving something, my knife should be pretty sharp. And unless the wood is completely covered in knots, or I somehow drop the knife and put a dink in it or anything like that, there should be no reason why it should be very blunt at all. So it's just a top up. I do that to make sure that my knife stays as sharp as it can every time I carve. Sometimes I'll do it before, sometimes after, sometimes both, depending on how I'm feeling and how eager I am to start as well. But it always is worth keeping care of your tools. They will last you if you keep care of them. But again, I do the from 10 down every month or two, really, just to really refine that edge and really hone it a bit more. But again, like I said, I tend to go from 5 after each one, and I don't do a 3-step process. I tend to just do a 2-step on my other one. But this is the first time I've used these, so let's see how this goes. But I'm going to do the same on this one, and then I'll meet you back when it's time for the final pass, and we'll go from there. Okay. Okay, so final one. Thoughts after that one? I like it actually. I actually quite like using that belt. Like I said, it is quite flexible, so it's not something that you can just pick up and use anywhere. You're going to have to use it with a table surface and with something with a bit of a lip, unless you are very, 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 very tight with it. I wouldn't trust myself to be like that. I'd want to have it down flat somewhere. Again, you get the ring on it there, so you can hook it up on something, maybe do it up against a wall. But yeah, no, I quite like that actually. I quite like using that. And again, these pastes I'm really enjoying. They do feel very good to sharpen with. Obviously, the price is going to be in the pudding, in the final effect here. But yeah, so I'm just using a plain one. Remember, this one has no compound on it whatsoever. It's got none of the diamond paste on it. It's just bare leather, so that should be the highest grit, and it is the shiny leather, so it has the least amount of resistance on it. Also worth noting, sorry, going back to the belt, a lot less residue. I don't know if you can see that. Yes, obviously there is some marking where the knife has passed. You can see a little bit of wear, but very little darkness compared to the first one. And obviously the grit of the diamond paste is going to be playing a part of that. So, but again, so this is, I suppose, sharpening, honing, perfecting is the only way to describe it that I can think of right now. But yeah, so exactly the same again. You're going to feel absolutely no resistance. It is like gliding it over oil, really, over a shiny surface. It is no resistance, but it might feel like it's not doing anything, but it really, really is. This is the difference between doing what you have to and doing what you need to, I suppose. This is the coup de grace, the final perfection. I think that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to do exactly the same again here. I won't let you sit and watch the entire way through. You're all going to nod off. I'll join you back at the end. Okay, so that is everything done. That is my whole process. I mean, that knife has a complete mirror finish now, and obviously it's worth noting that the diamond paste is also used for polishing metal, so it obviously grinds away any discrepancies and bits and pieces to get that mirror shine. So if you are maybe a knife maker or something, obviously you've probably got a lot more knowledge than I have on the stuff, but for sharpening, that was a lovely sharpen. That was wonderfully done. So proof is in the pudding. As we see, let's get my piece of paper up again. Oh God, there we are. So that goes through absolutely beautifully there. Oh my goodness, that knife has not been that sharp for a very long time. Wow. Okay, Tech Diamond Tools, I am very, very impressed. Wow, that is, well, that's me sold. I will definitely be topping up on that stuff again. I am really, really impressed. That is back to new and probably beyond, sharpening wise. I am really, 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 really impressed with that. So yeah, a couple of other notes to be aware of. That's brilliant. So a couple of other notes to be aware of when you're sharpening your knives. Check out your bevel. So if you've no idea what I mean by a bevel, your bevel is the slope that goes down to form the sharp edge. Okay, so you will have most knives, such as this, Sloyd knives, will have a single bevel, so you will be able to see that line along your knife. You can see it if I turn the knife. You can see the difference in the mirror shine there in the camera. So that's a single bevel, so it's flat and then goes at an angle to get to the knife. Other knives such as flex cut, detail knives and things you've seen me use in other videos, they have a single bevel, so it is just all one line to the top to the back of the knife. So they are super easy to sharpen because you just lay it flat and off you go. Just be aware you can get some knives with a secondary bevel. So, for instance, the Mora spoon knives, the hook knives, you have a first bevel, which initially you think, that's the one I'm looking at. No, no, no. They have a very tiny secondary bevel on the edge. And if you don't sharpen to that bevel, you will blunt it because you're never technically sharpening the edge, and you run the risk of it rocking as you're sharpening. So just be aware of your knife. Have a look, have a check. If you're not entirely sure, get in contact with the manufacturer. They will be able to tell you, and more than likely they'll a lot of them are very friendly people as well. They may even be able to send you some details on the best sharpening methods. But yeah, Tech Diamond Tools, definitely check them out for their sharpening systems. Like I showed you at the beginning, I've left my the pastes indoors, but you get, with the kit I had, you get the paddle, you get the belt, and you get the three compounds, the three grits with them as well. You can buy them individually as far as I'm aware as well, and within different sets. Have a look at their website, get in contact with them. They're on Instagram, that's how I found them as well. They do have a couple of YouTube videos, yeah, I definitely recommend them. I will be putting some links to them in the descriptions of this video. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please do any comments, put them in the comments section. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Please share to your friends. Tell them how wonderful and lovely this is and how much of a help it's been, hopefully. Thanks very much, guys. Catch you again next time. Cheers. Bye-bye. Hey guys, just thought I'd do a quick little update. It's been quite a few months since I've last done anything YouTube wise. One thing after another, work and craft fairs and tons of stuff anyway. So I've gotten a little bit behind. So this video was actually recorded in 2022. So all the prices and things like that is true as per last year, in case there's been any increases since. But it is worth noting, I'm still using that Tech Diamond Tools paste. It is still absolutely awesome, and I'm still on the same tubes as before. They lasting a fantastic amount of time, so it is well worth the money. Once you've done that first initial setup, it's just a little bit added on, a few dots and a little clean up and scrape over, and it's brilliant stuff. So highly recommend it. And this video is not sponsored by them in any way, shape or form. This is all my own thoughts and my own feelings towards it, but highly recommend. Cheers guys.